call to order the Community Health Board. And see, that's in our packet.
9.
Page 9, yeah, page 9, all right. And let's see, is Commissioner Jacob with us yet? I don't see him, do you? Anybody see him?
Not yet.
No, okay, but we have a quorum, so we'll start. So call to order, item number 2, approval of the meeting minutes from June 13th.
Also move.
Right, second. Motion made by Commissioner Meyer, second by Commissioner Kavesi to approve the meeting minutes from June 13th. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, approved. Item 3, chairperson's report. I was questioned, why is the Community Health Board meeting so often when we haven't in the past? And it seems like it's trying to get all these grants and contracts signed and up to date. And it seems like, I don't know if it's the COVID, it put things out of a sequence or something, but it's just, we're meeting to predominantly approve grant applications and funding sources. So that's why we're doing that. As far as a health board, I don't know, this COVID stuff is not getting any better. It seems like it's raising the variants. I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, do we know what our percent vaccinated is?
Yes, it's 53%.
Okay.
I heard that this morning from Melanie.
52.7.
Although
Okay.
Melanie is
And
on, so if I'm wrong, she
I
can
saw
tell you.
52.7, and I guess I
we would have
thought it
been
was higher.
Yeah, I thought we were at like 70.
Wait,
something.
no, that
Oh,
would be
that's when
people
the-
over 65 is really
That's
high.
the
Yes.
high.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's when they opened it up to what, 12 and up,
Yeah.
then the number dropped.
Yeah,
I guess.
the Emergency Coordinating Council met this morning and Melanie gave a report, which is why I know the 53.
Okay.
And the other one was really high. I don't remember exactly what it was, but
Okay, so
70 or 90, but it was really high.
a question, there is no supply issues of vaccines. We have plenty of vaccine.
Well, Melanie is on the phone. Maybe if she's there and
Melanie,
and she hears us.
yeah, she is on the phone. Melanie, we have a question for you.
Got her hand raised.
Yeah. Oh, there. She's got her
Yeah,
hand raised.
She's ready.
Okay,
We're calling on you, Melanie.
Melanie?
Hit it on our end?
Yeah, we don't.
No, it's Melanie, you're muted.
Can you hear me okay?
Now
Now
we
we
can.
can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, hello everybody. Yes, so our
Steve.
vaccination rate is at 53% for the total eligible population for Winona County residents. We are at 97% for our 65 plus, about 51% for our 16 plus, and then hovering around 50 for our 12 plus. So you guys are all right on the money.
Okay. Question, is there any concern with supply of vaccines? We have enough?
So as of right now, nationally, we're seeing a 4% increase in demand with the vaccine, which is good. That means that hopefully those who have been waiting to receive the vaccine are now interested. For us here in Winona County, we are seeing a lot of vaccine providers offering the vaccine. So those are Winona Health, Walmart, Hy-Vee. Gunderson is hoping to receive vaccine and be able to administer that at their clinic soon. And then Olmsted Medical Center also has vaccine. For us, we do have a pretty good stock of Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer vaccine that we've been using for pop-up clinics. What one key factor is going to be is both Moderna and Pfizer are in the process of seeing how effective their vaccines are for individuals 6 months of age and older. It's anticipated that those vaccines are going to be approved for that population here late in September. And so that's going to put a larger demand on the vaccine. So at this point, it's really up to the pharmaceutical companies if they can prepare for that and make sure that everyone has enough vaccine for once it's approved, because all of those folks, all of the parents of the future eligible populations are going to be wanting to have their children hopefully vaccinated once that's approved.
Okay. All right. Anything else we should know about that issue?
Regarding the vaccine, Johnson & Johnson is, or
Yeah, the whole COVID situation, anything that we should know or the public should know?
I guess one thing that's really important to know, and I know that you mentioned that, Commissioner, is that we are seeing a slight increase of cases across the state and the country, and that we are seeing that in Winona County. For example, we've had 5 cases reported today. Those cases were 3 on on Saturday and 2 on Friday, which is normal than the zeros that we've been come to used to. That could be as a result of people celebrating Independence Day. We see a rise of cases 2 weeks after that, but it's also most likely due to the presence of the Delta variant. We have the Delta variant within the state. It's safe to assume that it's present everywhere, and it's quickly becoming the predominant strain. And what we know about this strain is it's quicker spreading. The median age of the variant strain is 34-year-olds who are contracting the virus. The median age for those who are hospitalized, which is 1%, is 54. The concern with that is that we have large populations of people who are unvaccinated, and that's what this virus is going towards, unvaccinated individuals. So that could pose a concern as we come into the winter months. People come indoors. So MDH and Winona County Public Health is continuing to monitor it, and we're not quite through this pandemic yet.
Okay. Question, when you said, I think you said, what, 5 cases, is that hospitalization required or just they have?
So the 5 cases were for the total number of cases that reported, new cases reported in Winona County. There are, in the state, there are more than 5 cases of the Delta variant. I don't know that number off the top of my head. I apologize.
Okay. I guess my question is, the cases in Winona, have they required hospitalization, or is it they're at home capable of taking care of themselves?
As far as I know, they're capable of taking care of themselves at this time.
Okay. All right. And then another follow-up question. As we're approaching, get ready to go back to school and everything, where are people still able to get like a rapid test in our community?
Yeah. So tests are still available at Winona Health, the Gunderson Health System. I believe Hy-Vee and Walmart and Walgreens are still conducting the tests. And then also the Winona County semi-permanent testing site is still available for people to use, and it will be available until notified otherwise. They have new summer hours. Those are Monday through Thursdays, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday, I believe it's 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay. All right. That's something that we need to give people that information going forward. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Melanie, for that information.
My pleasure.
All right. Anything else? Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, Marcia, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Commissioner Jacob, thank you for joining us.
All right.
All right.
You're late.
We're on consent, item number 4, consent business. 4.1.
Okay, I'm with you.
To approve Minnesota Department of Health Community Health Board Grant Project Agreement Amendment to provide supplemental federal funding for budget period 3 of the Public Health Emergency Preparedness and Response. And the whole details was in page 73 of our general business.
I do have just clarification of the phrasing of that item.
Yes.
Okay. So it is incorrectly stating that it's supplemental funding. The request is to approve our routine standard public health emergency preparedness budget period year 3 allotment. MDH is anticipated to give us supplemental funding, but the request is to approve just our standard public health emergency preparedness allotment that we receive annually.
Okay.
So we replace supplemental with standard?
Sure, that'd be great. Thank you.
Standard. Okay, so we can get that corrected. So would we have a motion to approve the?
Yeah, Commissioner Meyer would vote to approve it with the adjustment as per Ms. Taji.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Meyer, second by Commissioner Olson to approve the grant project with the change to standard versus supplemental. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay.
Aye.
Okay, approved. All right, thank you. General business. Just everybody try and stay healthy. And stay tuned. All right, with that, any other items to come before the Public Health Board tonight?
Motion to adjourn?
I will second.
Motion made by Commissioner Olson, second by Commissioner Meyer to adjourn. All those in favor, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
All right.
All right, thank you. Okay, that's right, okay. All right, call to order. Item number 3, public comment. We give each speaker 2 minutes and state your name and address. Is there anyone wanting to address the Winona County Board this evening? And I'm looking at the board, names. Is there anyone wishing to address the county board this evening? And again, is there anyone wishing to address the county board this evening? Okay, hearing nobody, we'll move on. Item 4, approval of the county board meeting minutes. 4.1, the county board, July 13th, 2021, and 4.2, closed session, July 13th, 2021.
Move to approve?
I'll second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Olson, seconded by Commissioner Meyer to approve the county board meeting minutes, 4.1 and 4.2. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, all approved. Thank you. All right, item 5, consent comments and approval of the agenda. Ms. Holte, do you have anything?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, Commissioner Olson,
Nothing for me.
Commissioner Meyer,
Nothing for me.
Commissioner Kavesi.
I have some announcements at the end.
Okay. And Attorney Sonneman? Okay. I need to pull 6.3. And I think that's, well, we can move it to 7.0. It's just a point of clarification. Okay. All right.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
you did not ask Commissioner Jacob.
Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Jacob, Jacob.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing for me.
You're in the echo chamber. I apologize. All right. Thank you. So a motion to approve the amended agenda.
I would so move.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Meyer, seconded by Commissioner Kavesi to approve the amended agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Aye.
Approved. All right, thank you. Ms. Holte, if you would read the consent business into the record, please.
Yes, Madam Chair. 6.1, approve contract with DocuSign. 6.2, approve contract with GovQA. 6.3 was pulled. 6.4, approve contract with Velocity EHS for safety data sheets and chemical management. 6.5, approve professional service agreement for Attorney's Office to provide municipal prosecution services for City of Goodview. 6.6, approve professional services agreement with DS Solutions Incorporated. 6.7, approve resolution for repurchase of tax forfeited property. 6.8, approve Minnesota Department of Health Community Health Board Grant Project Agreement Amendment to provide standard funding for public health emergency preparedness and response. 6.9, approve renewal of State of Minnesota micro grant contract to cover expenses for citizen review panel activity. 6.10, approve monthly resolution. 6.11, award bid for CASA 20 drainage improvements to Griffin Construction. 6.12, approve prioritized bridge replacement list resolution. 6.13, approve resolution for donations received April 1st through June 30th, 2021. 6.14, confirm payment of disbursements.
Okay, that is the consent business. Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve the consent business as read.
Okay.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Jacob, seconded by Commissioner Olson to approve the consent business as read. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, approved. All right, moving into general business. 6.3, I did pull. I think it's just in, again, I think our title is incorrect because on page 42, the first, now therefore it be resolved, the Winona County Board rescinds and terminates the COVID-19 state local effective September 1. And in our listing of the item, it says extending the peacetime emergency. So I think we just want to correct that and vote for the resolution that does say rescind and terminate effective September 1. Is that, and there's no further information, Attorney Sonneman?
If I could speak to that, I drafted the resolution, and this was in consultation with Ben Klinger, who's the Director of Emergency Management. And the title, it is terminating, I mean, the purpose of this is to terminate the state of local emergency as of September 1st, unless there's intervening circumstances, and we all know the Delta variant is of concern across the country. So I think what you're saying there, Chair Ward, is it is not really a resolution to extend the peacetime emergency. It's to terminate it effective September 1st. So
Okay.
the title, I mean, I didn't write the title.
Okay,
So
that's okay. But we are terminating it, and if something happens,
something
and
happens,
then we take
we
action
would
then.
bring it back for your review. But this would effectively end and rescind what was declared in March of 2020. And then the entire board had adopted the resolution, because then that extended it beyond the 3 days that it would otherwise be in effect. So the purpose of the resolution is indeed to effectively terminate the state of local emergency as of 12:01 a.m. September 1st.
Okay, so we can just take out the extending and say termination.
Yeah. I think,
Okay.
great.
All right,
Madam Chair,
yes.
I will just say that Mr. Klinger at the Emergency Coordinating Council meeting this morning said that having this time in August just helps it be a little more orderly and planned.
Mhm.
So he made that announcement there that this would be coming before us. So I think it was his wish that they have a month to sort of close things out.
And that's the purpose of it is I mean, again, I spoke with Mr. Klinger, and he and I worked on this together, really. I also spoke with Administrator Fritz, and he was also of the mind to have it as of September 1st to carry us through the summer, and also, as the resolution describes, basically kind of wrap up some of the work that's being done. But also, when I wrote this, the Delta variant wasn't as, let's say, of concern. I mean, it was still concerning, but so, you know, I think it's actually a pretty prescient, if you want to say, resolution to address what I hope will not be another emergency.
Right. But the governor's powers have been
He decided to
And-
end his as of
right.
July 1st,
first.
but the statute does allow local
To extend.
municipalities and counties to have a local emergency, and that's how our local emergency was enacted under that
Okay.
12.29. So
Okay, all right. So is everybody clear then? It would be actually replacing the word extending and terminating. All right,
I would move,
All
Madam
right.
Chair, I would move to approve this resolution to terminate as of September.
all right.
Second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Meyer, seconded by Commissioner Olson to approve the resolution termination of the peacetime emergency to September 1, 2021. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Passes. Sorry, this delay is.
Doing good.
I have voices talking to me,
Now it's
right?
delayed, now it's right here.
All
so
right.
There's
All
no
right.
guarantees.
7.1, discuss and determine 2022 SEMSHRA allocation and approval preliminary levy resolution. And I know Buffy Baronic is on the line. Good evening, Buffy.
Good evening, Madam Chair. Good evening, members of the Winona County Board. Buffy Baronic, Executive Director of SEMSHRA. I also have Patty Harity, SEMSHRA's accountant, on as well this evening. So thank you so much for taking the time to discuss the 2022 SEMSHRA levy. Madam Chair, would you like me just to start into the request and go through the details, or were there any introductory comments that you wanted to make?
No, go ahead, Buffy.
Okay, thank you. In front of you is a request for $120,000 and some odd change, $150. That is our total request that's in front of you on the paper, but that was developed early on. As you know, through the budget process, you do continue to fine tune, and we have fine tuned that budget down by about $3,400 already. So I'm hopeful that we will be able to continue to do that as we enter December. As you know, our levy has been held at $100,000 since 2013. The estimated cost for the 2022 to a taxpayer on a $220,000 home is about $7.93. I will point out that that is for taxpayers outside of the city of Winona. We do not serve as the city of Winona HRA. We serve the greater part of the county. So it's almost $8 on a tax statement for that $120,000 request. If we were to look at that increase, boy, it sounds like a lot for 1 year, 20% increase. Historically, had we increased the levy by 2% per year, we would be at $120,000. So taking a historical approach to this, it really, it isn't as significant of an increase when looking in retrospect. And I'll discuss some of the reasons why that request is there and some of the different things that that we have had challenges with that have come out of COVID and are making up that request. Most of them, I think, are good, responsible choices and will actually produce better services from the HRA and hopefully from an indirect perspective, help provide better services throughout the county. Our HRA levy request is broken out into 4 different categories. They're the same 4 categories that we have had as part of our levy request. The first is for our general fund expenditures. This is to run the operations of Semtra, the office building, the pays the bond payments on the building, the lights, the overhead. That general fund expense is funded by 2 things, our levy from the counties and also the programs. And last week at our Semtra board meeting, we made the board made the decision to increase our overhead rate on the programs to help pay for some of that. So that is where I had mentioned that we've already started to whittle this request down. That request, we're Patty and I feel very confident that we can keep our overhead at about a 2% increase over 2022. So that's where I'm when I stated earlier about a $3,300 decrease off of that 120. So so it's in that general fund overhead. So on your paperwork, it says a 9.1%. And just so you know, at our Patty and I really felt committed that we needed to go back and just look at some different scenarios. Where could we cut? What could we do differently? When the Semtra board has to approve our preliminary levies, and we had we have 8 members currently on our board. We're still looking to fill that other Winona County position. It was a 5-3 vote, and usually I might have 1 commissioner that votes no, but when we have 3, it really made us go back and really think about that. So we brought that indirect cost forward to the board, this, like I said, in July, and that passed. The second item is for housing developments. This is constant. This is the same request of every year. I'll give you a little bit of updates on the projects as I go through this. Of the $40,000 for housing developments, $15,000 is the special benefit tax for the Lewiston, Greenview, Parkview apartment projects that we built. There's the GO bond in that, and that's that special benefit tax levy for supporting those. The second item, the $25,000, is for the St. Charles South Fork Debt Service Reserve for funding those bond payments. Just a little bit of an update on that St. Charles TIF. 2 years ago, I talked to lobbyists. I thought we were going to have to extend our TIF districts. I didn't think we'd be able to put them back on the tax rolls at the end of the TIF district. I thought we'd have to extend them out to actually get these bonds paid. I do not believe that to be the where we're at today. So our current outstanding debt on those bonds is about $570,000. We're collecting about $60,000 a year on TIF, and our required decertification date is 2031. So we are 10 years away from having that done. I feel like that is there. I don't want to tell you it's going to be done sooner than that, but is it possible? Yes. So I'm happy with where that's at and where we've gotten to. So we continue to pay down those bonds as quickly as we possibly can. The third item is for housing stabilization and preservation. This is really truly our small cities development. This is where we're able to leverage, and when we're asking for dollars, the funders point them. They look for that local support. We have been very successful with our city and county support. And in 2021-22, we will be looking to roll out a Rolling Stone / Altura small cities development grant. We've started to have some preliminary discussions, and total dollars brought back to our area will be somewhere between $600,000 to $1 million, kind of depending on the sizing of that. So that will be both for rental and single family preservation. The fourth category is for housing development. And we had just one category kind of under this area the last time around, and it was for our homebuyer education, counseling, and education grant. We've ended our second year. It's been a very, very successful program. And that's where we're doing that financial counseling. We're trying to educate individuals on how to buy a home. It's been so successful that we're actually asking to double the size of that grant because we can do more classes. They've allowed us to go virtual with that. So we have the capabilities to even hold more classes and do more education and financial counseling. So we are asking for $108,000 from the state. And then we're asking for all 4 counties to pledge $5,000 for that 2-year grant commitment. Last year it was $2,500. So that's part of that increase to take us up to that $120,000 on your request in front of you. Through this program, we've been able to hold about 25 classes in 2020. We've held about 13 classes here in 2021, and actually there's a class tonight going on, and I know we have some Winona County residents that are attending that. We've hit about 130 households in total through our home stretch. That's the homebuyer education class, and about 61 households for one-on-one counseling. Specific to Winona County, we've hit about 20 separate households for the home stretch training and about 15 for the one-on-one counseling. So it being a new program, and I know it had kind of a slow start and we had COVID in there, I foresee those numbers even growing in the future. The final portion of that housing development is a new request, and it's for permanent supportive housing services. Sumtra is a landlord in many respects, and it's one aspect of our business. We own and operate rental properties, 56 units specifically in Winona. And when you think about landlords, or at least when I've thought about the landlords that I've had in the past, I never went to them for financial counseling. I never went to them if I was having a mental health crisis. I never went to them if I couldn't pay my rent. I didn't have a lot of those issues going on. So what we find with the clients that we serve, many of them at the lower income, many of them elderly, many of them disabled, that there's a need in there that we need to better serve. And I think we can do more and better for the people that we are serving and utilize the dollars that are already coming in to Sumtra in a better, smarter way. meaning that we can keep individuals housed instead of putting them back out on the streets and they're homeless, or they're, reoccurring mental health issues, or going back into the jail system, or into nursing homes. We can keep the elderly at home. We just need more service. And I can give you real life examples that I've personally had to deal with. I've had to step into the property management role here the last 4 months, just because we've had a very difficult time hiring for this position as a property manager. And part of it is because a property manager just doesn't manage properties. In many ways, when you're working in the affordable housing industry, you're also that counselor too. And we can do a better job if we have a liaison person working directly with Hiawatha Valley mental health, public health, work development, social justice, to assist mental health treatment, living habits, rules, budgetary, monetary management, employment service. Some of it is just answering questions and taking time to complete paperwork for individuals. Many times people that need the help most get it because they fall through the cracks. They're not getting the specific, we're not staffed to be able to provide that level of service that they need. And I think we can do this better. So this $10,000 we would use to match for a grant. We're going to be asking, hopefully applying for a grant through HUD in September. And if we don't have the leverage, then we can't apply for the grant. So our plans internally are to be able to support this off of other programs and growing that service internally. But we need that kickstart to be able to do this. I'm going to pause there and just open it up for questions.
Great. Buffy, you gave a very good recap of the work you're doing. Do we have any questions for Buffy?
I have a question.
Commissioner Kavesi.
I like the home buyer education, counseling, and training services that are going on. You said you had 20 people in Winona County with the home buyer education. Did that translate into 20 new home owners, or is it not quite that simple?
I wish it was that simple. I wish we had that housing stock. Part of it is there's a long process getting people ready, getting them credit ready, getting the money saved, the down payment. So that is something that I can go back and ask staff, how did this translate into actual homes? How many of them went through the class and actually executed?
Okay, I was just curious. I didn't think it meant 20 new homeowners, but.
Optimistic thinking.
And on the staff amount, the $10,000, that actually would provide for matching grant funds.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and without that, you can't apply for the grant even.
Correct.
Okay.
Chair Ward?
Yes, Commissioner Jacob.
Yeah, I'll certainly support the 100,000 that we've been providing in the past, but this is great that Buffy and Semtra wants to do the things that they're doing, but these are also issues where the party looking for the education could go to the private sector, financial institutions. There's other ways to, so I feel like this is adding of staff to the government, expanding the government's role, and it's a service that we should be looking to the private sector for. So I don't want to raise taxes to provide this additional service. So I'm just justifying where I'm gonna, and furthermore, when we get to taking the vote, I would certainly support the 100,000. And also, if Semtra runs short and needs to come back to Winona County with some type of, emergency need money 10 months into the year, I would certainly consider that. We've done that before with the SWCD, but to just upfront them another 20%, that's just setting the stage for all of our other departments to come in and in the interest of being fair, I won't be supporting their request.
Okay, thank you. I do have a question and I don't know if Ms. Holte can answer this. We're early in our budgeting process, and I know we always have to set a preliminary, and then we can't go higher. We can always go down. This is the first one that's come to us in this cycle of approvals. Does it need definitive action tonight? Or can we see how some of the other areas of our budget come in?
Yeah, I'm going to have to defer to Pat if this has to have an answer tonight.
Okay, because it's a lot of information. Pat, you're working in the budget process. What's our timeline here?
It does not need an answer tonight. Actually, it needs an answer by, I think it's the end of September, September 15th or the end of September.
Okay,
I'd have to look at the calendar, but it's in September.
okay, all right. That's good to know. All right. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, but then
Commissioner Kavesi.
how does that mesh with Buffy's grant application in September?
Buffy, did you hear that question?
I did. We can apply for the grant. The grant application is due on September 17th. So we can apply for the grant. We can say we're going to have matching funds. If we don't have the matching funds, then we can deny the grant.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Commissioner Meyer.
So understanding that that nothing has changed and the tax is levied upon the market where SEMSHA operates, which is not inside the city of Winona. I reached out, I would love to be able to approve their request. So I reached out to Assistant Administrator Holte and to the Administrator Fritz. And my question was, could the extra $20,000 be made up with American Recovery Plan money? And his answer was yes. Now, that whole process of making those decisions is, still in flux. But I was wondering if you and maybe Commissioner Jacob would be willing to consider if the levy portion remained at 100,000, but we agreed that if possible, we would meet the rest of the request with our recovery plan funds.
I have a comment. We do work for the city of Winona, SEMSHA.
You do, that's
Okay.
true.
And I find it, well, I take it almost personally offensive that the city of Winona has not yet, been influenced to what I would consider appropriately fund the administration function of SEMSHA. So has it been a year now? The city of Winona turned over approximately 150 Section 8 vouchers. And I think right now, I did have a conversation with Ms. Baranek, and I think they're allocating $1,000. Well, you don't, in this day and age, $1,000 doesn't go very far anywhere. And to administer 150 vouchers, and that's within the city of Winona. So we're helping 150, constituents have reduced housing in Winona, and we took that on. SEMSHA took that on. I wasn't, as a board member for SEMSHA, I wasn't crazy about doing it, but as Buffy's famous words, we'll lose less money. We could spread the administration out. Yes, you get some funds from different sources, but it doesn't cover, the staffing and all the requirements. So I think the city of Winona needs to step up there. And I understand their HR person or HRA person is retiring at the end of, or this fall sometime. And they may want SEMSHA to do more. The other thing too, Buffy reminded me of, Wapasa Apartments. It's out on Pelzer and 5th. SEMSHA helped that. It's a 501(c) group that owns it and everything, but SEMSHA helped them get almost $300,000 worth of rehab dollars. And I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't think we even got a thank you card for helping and really helping improve those apartments and making them. And most of those are, that was federal dollars, but I think most of those people are maybe reduced income or elderly or handicapped. It's a mix of residents. So So SEMSHA is doing quite a bit of work for the city of Winona constituency, but but the rural residents are paying the bill. And I just don't think that's fair. I just don't think that's right. So I could possibly support the American Recovery Dollars doing that, realizing it's a one-time thing. I've always been comfortable with that 100,000, but I think we need to, maybe it's us or maybe it's SEMSHA, approach the city of Winona and say, hey, it's time, to step up the funding. This organization's doing a lot for the city of Winona, because those 150, if you took away those 150 Section 8 vouchers out of the city of Winona, there'd be a lot of people in a bad situation. And so we've been loyal to keep those as much as possible, within the city. So that's my soapbox. I can go for last.
Yeah, Chair Ward?
Yes, Commissioner Jacob. Yes.
Yeah, so one concern that I would have with the American Recovery Plan money is certainly once we approve that, that money's not going to be there forever, but, it's like a ratchet or however you want to look at it. The next year around, certainly that full 20% increase or within a few years will land solidly on the local tax levy, property tax levy. So that I could maybe see some type of compromise in between 0% increase and 20% increase and utilizing some of the ARP money. But to me, if we approve anything near 20%, we're just sending such a message to that, hey, we're fair game to, come on into, we're gonna start jacking taxes by 20% across the board. I mean, that's the reality of how you pay for these things. So, yeah, I appreciate the homework being done by Commissioner Meyer, and I could, maybe reach some type of compromise in there, but I can't get to 20%. I just can't.
Commissioner Olson.
I think we do have to recognize that we have an increase of funding at all. And as all the costs go up, cost of doing business for SEMCRA, the services they provide. I do understand, Commissioner Jacob, your concern over expansion of their service. But still their costs go up, and just ignoring it creates a bubble down the road. And we have a bubble in front of us that if perhaps we had done the responsible thing all along and recognized increase of cost and increase of responsibility, that we wouldn't see a 20% increase. But I will support something greater than the 100,000, but that's yet to be determined.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Kavesi.
Yeah, I'm balancing this request on the importance and the result when you put people in stable housing. Families are back together. It's one of the most important, housing itself is one of the most important social determinants of health. And we have seen what happens when people are not in housing. I work with the Shelter and Homeless Opportunity, CC, what does that part stand for? Coordinated Council. They're the citizen group that deals with transitional housing, the homeless and day shelter and some of those opportunities. I look at the information that Buffy has provided us. The average income for people in the rental property is $20,841. That's very small in terms of a family's average income in a rental property. So I think anything we can do to encourage people and to keep housing stable, in the long run, it saves us money. You would have less unemployment, you have less mental health issues because people are in stable housing. Children are going to the same schools, they're not being moved around. So for quality of life and for those social determinants of health, I would sponsor the 100,000 plus the 20,000 from the ARP money. It seems like almost a win-win in terms of what we get back from it.
I still have issues with, though, as Commissioner Jacob pointed out, ARP is a one-time, and if you're building a budget off of that and everything, I look at, okay, if the county is paying 100,000, which we've done for years, and I do have to commend Buffy. Buffy and her organization have done marvelous work. She knows that, but she knows I'm always going to scrutinize the dollars and cents, and I'm stubborn, and so I get stuck on a figure, and I like that figure. But Buffy has done some great things with the organization and how she's run it and the grants she's obtained and everything, and she knows that. And we speak highly of her at the board. But I take the 100,000 that the rural Winona County, small cities and everything, divide that by 25,000. You know, we always say the city's half the population, the rural's half the population. So $100,000 on the rural populate, 25,000 just population is $4 a person. To make up the difference, 20,000, if the city of Winona would, again, I feel needs to step up if we're doing more and more of their function. Okay, so 20,000 divided by 25,000 is 80 cents a person. I really don't understand how the city of Winona officials can feel that they can continue to ask an organization to do functions for them and not pay them. Of course, I've always said too that cities always get to do the fun things, parks and rec and things like that, and the county has to do the human service stuff, the tough stuff. It's not the fun stuff, but it's important. And what Commissioner Kavesi said is very true, stable housing and everything. And so for when the city of Winona didn't have anybody to take over the Section 8 voucher system, SEMSHA stepped up. We did it losing money. We knew it was going to cost us more than what we were getting from the federal administrative dollars. But SEMSHA, stepped up and did it and has the people to do it. And I think it went pretty flawless. Now, if that HRA person is retiring, are they going to ask us again? I think if they're, in my opinion, if they're, as a SEMSHA board member, if they're contributing more, I'm more than willing to, to do something for them. But if they're giving $1,000 to administrate several programs, which is far underfunded, am I going to be willing to, step up and do it again? And again, asking the rural residents to pay for it?
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Meyer.
It's fine if you have gripes against the city of Winona, but you're harming rural residents by not approving a budget that would support them. So it's fine for us to complain about something that the city of Winona might or might not have done, but that doesn't change what they're doing. It only harms the people who will benefit from this program. So I don't see the point of that.
I don't see it harming them because Buffy, again, with her group and everything, I don't know that we've ever cut anything in the responsibilities that SEMSHA has been doing. So I don't see, as a board member, I don't see any harm happening. But Commissioner Kavesi.
I see the same point as Commissioner Meyer. I don't think we can hold renters that make $20,800 a year hostage by, whatever feelings we have for the city. Whatever negotiations are going on to bring the city into the paying side or more of the paying side, they're not going to stop. It's not going to stop no matter what we do here. Those negotiations are going to continue. And I just think we have to keep going, keep working with the city so that they can contribute more, but not, hold the renters who are $20,000 income people hostage.
We're not, again, sitting on the SEMSHA board, I don't see that we're holding those renters hostage. We're still providing the services. They're still getting all the Section 8 vouchers, and we're making improvements to buildings and trying to keep housing affordable out in the rural landscape, the small cities. We haven't not stopped doing our function.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
you're not keeping up with inflation, so every year you're doing less.
Yeah,
So to provide only $100,000 means you're providing $20,000 less than what is needed.
and
Again, Buffy hasn't had that financial problem. I'm
since
sitting there and seeing it.
Since 2013, we've contributed $100,000. in today's dollars, they're losing money every year by not having even a slight increase. So technically, we are harming people who are renters and who need those services.
Madam Chair, may I comment?
Yes, Buffy.
So just in terms of what have we done to live within our financial means, we no longer have a front desk. Part of that's due to COVID. We don't have the walk-in traffic, but we have switched everything to a phone system. Phone systems don't work well for the disabled, but it's one way we've been able to cut our costs. We no longer have that receptionist answering the questions, fielding the people to the right people. They've got to make their way to the person. So when I mentioned earlier, this is literally survival of the fittest, and there are many people falling through the cracks. The people that need help filling out paperwork, they may not get to the right person. We've had to we have to get paperless. We're operating on a 1998 SQL server. This is out of date. We've got to get there. So the resources that we had with that receptionist, we now have hired an individual who's helping us scan in all this stuff. So the level of service that we're providing face-to-face to the tenants is not at the same level that we used to, but we operate, we continue to do the best that we possibly can with the dollars that we have. Has our model changed? I feel very much the same way as Commissioner Ward and Commissioner Jacobs in terms of being fiscally responsible to the taxpayers. I resonate with that. For the last 4 months, I've been acting as a property manager, and I can honestly say, having worked at Sumtra for the last 15 years, I never truly understood the population of the individuals that we were serving. It's a $20,000 annual income for the people that live in our rental housing. The annual income for those on Section 8 is $14,183. It's even less. So I'll give you an example. I walked in, dropped off an ACH form. I got some complaints on smells. I walk in to the tenant and I said, Buffy, something doesn't smell right here. Buffy, do you need help? And she said, yes, I do. If I hadn't been there, if I hadn't gone there, how many landlords do this? Do you need help? And I said, okay, I will call social services. Her first question is, what is this going to cost me? The private sector is not going to be able to, there's no money in this. The private sector isn't going to be, and I finally have I've seen the light of the whole, why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's here to provide a service to the people that are vulnerable, that are falling through the cracks. They're not like me that I'm going to call and say, oh, hey, I need some help. I need Meals on Wheels now. And I'm making these calls and Googling things on my computer. They're not able to do this. So I'm going to be calling social services to try to get this tenant services. And my other option, if I'm a regular landlord, and this is where we're at, if I don't have time to do this, then I write her up. I'm coming back in 30 days. If it doesn't smell better in here, we don't have this done. This is a health and safety issue. I'm gonna have to evict you. Where is she gonna go? No family. There's no one here to do this for. So the private sector is just not there. This isn't the answer. I don't see it. And if they were, they'd be out writing grants. They'd be coming to you and saying, hey, can I have $10,000 to write this grant so that I can fund myself to do this? They're not going to do it. You know why? Because they can make more money at Culver's flipping burgers.
Buffy, I think I heard in the national news today, though, that President Biden's allocating billions of dollars to keeping seniors in their homes or something. It was just a short news clip. So, I mean, I think there are funding sources other than local property taxpayers that come into play. And you've done an excellent job of obtaining those funds.
I agree, but we need to, a lot of times they're asking, it's right there. We need to have money to leverage with that. We need to have something they're not willing to give 100%.
No, Madam Chair.
Oh.
Okay. Commissioner Meyer.
I would like to move that we go ahead and approve the preliminary levy, understanding that we're planning to only take $100,000 from the actual tax levy, and that we will meet the rest of the request, which may be smaller than the $20,150 from American Recovery Plan funds. And
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion to, did you say preliminarily approve the
No.
100,000?
yeah, right.
Because this is just a preliminary request.
Yeah,
in my-
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, and make the balance, the total balance, or,
Well, I understood
portion.
from Ms. Baranek that it actually was going to already be less than the 20,000. So I think
Correct.
whatever it comes in at, in actuality.
okay, so I don't have a figure to put in there then.
Say 20,000 or less?
Yep, there you go.
It was 116 something.
116,800. I'm also willing to come back in and do a revised levy and ARP request if you are more comfortable with that.
I
Well,
don't think
this
it'll
whole-
change this argument.
This whole
Okay.
ARP money, unfortunately, we have not had discussion of where we're going to spend that or how we're going to spend it.
Right.
So I guess I'm a little uncomfortable with saying we're going to use that to do this because I'm not even sure if that's, and again, I'm looking, ARP should be significant, long-term, in my opinion, long-term impactful dollars. And this, we're looking at one-time, funding. So,
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I feel like if we have it, we ought to help people with it. That's, I can tell you, I understand that there will be another discussion about the $100,000 next year and the year after that. But to the extent that, in my heart and my morality, to the extent that I can help people, this is what I want to do.
okay, so the motion is to set the initial, or to set $100,000 Winona County property tax levy with the balance yet to be determined,
20,000 or less. right?
20,000 or less, and using ARP funding. Okay. All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Yeah, Chair Ward?
Yes, Commissioner Jacob. Yes.
Yeah. So I agree with everything that everyone has said. There's nothing that I disagree with. It comes down to, Commissioner Meyer just used where she's at with morality and what's the best thing to do and the right way to do it. All the struggles that Buffy has brought to our attention, what they've done with their phone system, all these, they're very real struggles. And, I'm going to speak on behalf of the private sector that face these kind of struggles every day. And I'm not saying this business, but many other businesses, they have to operate that efficiently every day or they're going to be pushed out of business, and they don't get to come to the government and ask for some type of assistance or ask to make their program work. So, so for my sense of morality, my compassion lies with the people that we're going to have to take the money from. And whether we use ARP funds or whether we use property tax levy funds, we're still taking from one pocket or the other of our constituency. So, those are my reasons for not supporting this motion.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Nay.
Hey,
Okay, all right. Buffy, you offered to come back. We may take you up on that offer.
Okay,
All
yeah,
right, okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, committee, Commissioner Kavesi, you had some announcements?
Yes, staying on the housing theme, CJCC is holding a Section 8 workshop on the 4th of August from 6 to 7 p.m. and it's going to be a Zoom meeting. So the intention is to reach the landlords and again, review the process and, and discuss things, whatever issues landlords have, and to make Section 8 more workable within the community. So that'll be the 4th of August from 6 to 7. The jail design and construction committee meeting met last week, and there is now a time frame that's at least sketched out. The bids are going out. I have to find the right piece of paper. The bids are going out, and they will be due back in August. And it's possible we would have a extra or a special board meeting to because of the timing of when those bids come in. They come in on the 19th of August, and there's not time to get them on the agenda for the next official board meeting. So we talked about that last board meeting. Captain Buswell has already talked with the National Institute of Corrections. Earlier we did the pony training, planning a new institution. He has them lined up to come in and do a honey training. I forget what the H stands for, but it's like it gets you ready to move in. You're gonna actually just do everything you need to do to move into your new institution. And the tentative occupation date is June of 2023. So construction will start sometime early this fall, and by the time things run out, we will be in the jail June 2023.
All right, just one thing. We passed a resolution our last meeting, but Governor Walz proclaimed today, Tuesday, July 27th, 2021, Minnesota County Staff Appreciation Day. A big thank you for all the hard work. The integrity and dedication deserves this well-earned recognition. Thank you, everyone, Winona County and all county employees across the great state of Minnesota for what you do every day and work for the tax-paying citizens of both Winona County and Minnesota. So we were with Governor Walz on proclaiming that as Appreciation Day today. All right.
Thank you.
Yes.
Very good. Yes.
Thank you, staff.
Yeah.
And thank you, citizens, for paying the bills that allow us to do what we do.
That part is true.
All right.
Motion to adjourn?
All right.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner
We're
Olson,
tied,
seconded by Commissioner Meyer.
We're tied.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
All right.
We're adjourned. Thank you, Commissioner
Thank you.
Jacob.
Yes, thank you.
Yes,
Commissioner.
Jacob,
yes.
delayed.
Thank you, Chair. That's a good meeting.